rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first item is motion to recess the commissioners meeting to hold a retirement board meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to call the retirement board meeting to order.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor? Motion to approve the July 15th, 2026 agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the June 17th, 2026 minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Under new business, motion to approve refunds of contributions from employees no longer with the county. There are 4 individuals listed.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the following retirements. 1 person is listed.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the following invoice for payment beyond to investment advisor, $64,389.85. This is the third quarter fee billing.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn the retirement board.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor? Motion to reconvene the commissioners meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor? Before we start the meeting, I want to address a few issues, and this has to do with reassessment. I don't know how many of you have seen today's dispatch, but we are very concerned about what occurred the end of June with one of our data collectors. Reported in the paper here, one of the data collectors was, I'll read it. The suspect approached the 23-year-old male data collector and threatened to harm the victim if he ever came into the property, despite it being a lawful action. This went on for one of the employees that works through the county for reassessment. I know many people are not happy with reassessment, but folks, it's happening, okay? And it's either now or when, if you don't like it, sometime it's gonna have to be done. You know, with that, we have now seen information being posted on that favorite spot where everybody wants to get their news, social media. This document is not developed by the county. The meeting that we're holding on the 6th has to do with the ratio change. Questions will be answered about the reassessment, which is the next step. But this document is put out there, and then the person who puts it out there calls our office and says, are you going to answer questions about reassessment? And they say, no, we're answering questions about ratio change. But then he's the one that put the document out there and said, well, why would they not answer questions when this document's out there? But you know, back to this altercation with this young man. This person followed this young boy down the road who's doing his job, first stopped him and wanted to tell him not to come to his property. And then when he went back home, found the hanger on the door, went back, pulled the kid over, and threatened him with bodily injury, and that I'll put a bullet in your head. Now, I have to tell you, we have to be careful that words matter. When we have local news media saying things like this, the county is undergoing reassessment, which will eventually raise property taxes. That's not true. That's a bold-faced lie, and this is the news media writing this stuff. This is getting people anxious and just raising their blood pressure, thinking we're doing a reassessment to raise your taxes. We're doing reassessment to level the field again. Some of you in this room are paying higher taxes for other people in the room. You think that's fair? No, that's what we're going to fix here. Some people's taxes are going to go up because of reassessment, but not because we're raising the millage rate, just because the values are all out of whack. 33 years is too long. But this type of behavior, and I'm waiting to get the police report, the sheriff already knows about this. My feeling is that person who did that should be charged. We cannot put up with this. Someone is going to get hurt, and we have to be careful of what we're saying out there about all of these subjects that you're here for also today. There's people that sit on both sides thinking that reassessment is good, reassessment is bad. How reassessment gets tied into an article that has to do with the ICE contract is way beyond me. But that's what we have here. That's the type of reporting that's going on locally about this. All I'm asking is that go to our website, read all the information about reassessment. understand it. It needs to be done. It's not that we want to spend $4.9 million worth of your money. We don't. But we need to do it. It is completely out of whack. To give you an idea, the common level ratio is 11.78. What that means is you take your assessed valuation and multiply it by 11. That tells you what your value is today. It's way out of whack. But we need to make sure that this stuff is shared, the information is accurate. Because obviously, this gentleman is probably a little bit deranged. I'm going to say it. I'm not going to tell you his name. But obviously, to pull over a kid and threaten him in a car is a little bit too much. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that out before we start this meeting. I know we have Cindy on here who can explain a little bit more about what the responsibilities are of the data collectors. They have legal ability to go on your property. Unless if you see them and you don't want them there, tell them not to be there. But remember, your property is going to still be reassessed with the information we have. Don't come in here then and cry that the information is wrong, because it'll be noted you didn't let anybody on your property. You can't have it both ways. It's going to happen. Cindy, I don't know if you want to add to this about this, but I mean, we just found out about this last night on the front page of the Dispatch. This is really, I don't know, just upsetting to me that somebody that we hire in this county to do our jobs is out there being threatened. Cindy, you have anything you want to add to this?
It's hard to follow that up, Matt. You covered everything. We appreciate the support we're getting from the commissioners and from those property owners who understand the process. The young man was kind of naive in a different situation, or should it happen again, he would press charges. A report was filed, and that's how this became public, for his protection. So we are going to use this as a learning tool to kind of better inform our data collectors of how to handle situations like this. It's not the first in my career, but it is the first in Pike County. We just ask that everyone understand that we are just out there doing our job at this point. There will be time to come in and face us, those of us who are setting the values. So let the kids collect their job, do their job, and then call us. If you have something to say, if you have questions that need answered, call us. And we'll be happy to sit down with you and go over whatever it is that's bothering you.
Yep. And August 6th, that meeting, remember, this is the document, not this. This is garbage. This is the document. It's a ratio change. But you can ask any questions you want. We're not going to limit you because there is going to be a reassessment. But please, stay off Facebook. It's garbage. I don't know if anybody else has anything to add to that.
Commissioner Ossenberg, the data collector position I personally thought was on the county website as a job. That being said, can, from a legal standpoint, the county collector position be viewed, even though it's a contractor, still as a county employee? Therefore, from a law enforcement standpoint, the young 23-year-old data collector was harassed as a county employee. It's already on your website as a job.
I agree, but like I say, we'll let this go through, and the sheriff will deal with it. And I'm sure this person has been spoken to by the Pennsylvania State Police, but I'm more out there to make sure that people understand that this occurred, and we have to be careful of how we're sharing this information. It's a reassessment, okay? That's all. It's been done before. It's not like Pike County is the first county in the state that's done a reassessment. They've all been done. Don't take it personal. Just, it needs to be done. It's the only way we can generate income is through reassessment, through taxes. If you have a better solution for it, go to Harrisburg and teach them. Right now, this is our only way. Okay?
Hey Matt, real quick, how many data collectors are already out there working for the
Cindy will know that question better.
What was that question?
How many data collectors do we have?
Currently, we have 9 individuals out collecting data.
And so,
When did they begin?
Huh?
When did they start the process?
oh, they started the process. When did they start the process?
They started it officially in March.
in March, but so we're understanding, all the townships are notified as we go in there. All the lake communities are notified. Right now, I believe that they're in Gold Key. The staff in Gold Key has been notified. Everybody is notified. Now, obviously, we can't send a letter to every single resident to tell them that we're coming to your property. I mean, this is, this process is somewhat the news media helping us get that word out, but they do make sure they check in Gold Key, they check in every gated community to tell them that they're in there. All of the data collectors have ID on them. All the vehicles have placards on them. I think they're even wearing vests now. So we identify them as much as we can. I mean, this gentleman that pulled this kid over, he obviously knew this was the data collector. I mean, this was pointed, right? Not once, didn't stop once, stopped them twice to threaten him. That's a little over the top, So they are all being notified, townships, and as they go through, we will continue to put that information out there. Right now, they're in Dingman Township, and I think that's it right now, right? But go ahead, Cindy.
Right, I'm gonna offer one additional piece of information to Matt. Yes, everybody is clearly identified. The make, model, and license plate, their name and their driver's number is also provided to the Pennsylvania State Police, the township supervisors, and each one of the community leaders. So, both key. As a matter of fact, we had a trainee out, and the trainee's plate and make, model of car was not updated. It happened on that very same day. Both key called us to verify that this was indeed a data collector of ours. So we are doing everything we can to keep not only the public safe, but our data collectors safe.
Okay.
On your website, Gene Porterfield has met, I think, twice already this year, January and early June, with various municipalities and HOAs, telling them all about the reassessment. So isn't the responsibility of either the municipalities and or the HOAs also to communicate to Pike County residents?
And they are. That's what this article is also about. This is Dingman Township also, again, which I think was reported on a while ago in this paper, saying that they know that the township is aware that these data collectors are around their township. That they're doing their job, and that's what we're doing. And that's what this meeting is about for residents. And then there's another, I believe, another meeting where we're going to speak to the township officials also and the school district, just to tell them what the process is as we move forward. So the communication is going on. It's out there. People just need to look in the right spots for the communication. The problem is we have people out there spreading bad information and stirring people up with false information, which just as we're talking about this young man, that's what drove this. He thinks his taxes are going up because we're doing this. We're not. Okay?
One more point I'd like to make along this informational meeting. Yes, as Matt said, it is focused on ratio change. We will be answering any questions that are posed to us, whether it's ratio change related or reassessment related. But I also want to let you know that between now and the end of the year, we will have at least one reassessment specific informational meeting. And we will have them more frequently as the program progresses. So if you miss this meeting, worry not, we are going to have at least two more, one before the end of the year.
And just to add on, these will be held in different parts of the county to give folks access, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay? Alrighty, enough of that. Move on to public comments and questions concerning today's agenda.
Bob, just Smith, a quick question for you. Number one under new business is the authorize the Commonwealth Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, Waterways and Wetlands Office for a permit for a water obstruction and encroachment permit. But there's nothing in any of the packet that says what's that for.
I believe it's for Carlton Hill Bridge. It's for a bridge project that's been ongoing.
Okay.
With,
It's a county bridge.
It's a county bridge.
Okay, thank you. And the second one is on the intergovernmental contract for the inmates between Wayne and Pike. couple things. There's nothing on there about any terms of the agreement. How would someone get to see what that agreement is, so we know what detainees, is it male, female, what's the duration of the contract, that type of thing, because it's not in the packet.
We have a contract here.
We do have the contract here, yes, it's not signed.
It's not signed, but it's 2 years.
It's
2 years, right? It's 2
2
years.
years from now.
2 years.
And
2-year
is it
contract.
for all detainees, male and female?
It is.
But,
Well, it just says
correction, not
detainees.
detainees.
Pardon?
It's not detainees.
It's inmates, it's out, it's county.
Inmates,
And we do have county inmates still in the facility.
thank you.
Anyone else?
Hey, Chrissy, can you clarify that, because there is some scuttlebutt going around that there are no longer regular, for lack of a better term, inmates.
Local
in-
inmates.
Local inmates in the Pike County.
We do have local inmates, but yes, so we do have local inmates within Pike and we have some housing in Wayne.
Okay, so people that are saying that all the inmates are.
That is not accurate.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. So, go to number 1, motion to approve the July 15th, 2026 agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, any questions, all in favor? Aye. Motion to approve the July 1st, 2026 meeting minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Motion to approve the July 8th, 2026 conference minutes. Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Motion to approve payment from the general fund county bills in the amount of $350,013.60.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve payment from the election fund in the amount of $484.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve payment from the Pike County Employees Health Insurance Fund in the amount of $6,840.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to promote Matthew Williams to a grade 2 head resource conservationist at the Conservation District, retroactive to June 30th, 2026.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to create a part-time veteran service specialist position in the Veterans Affairs Office for less than 1,000 hours per year, effective July 15th, 2026.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Motion to change the title of Christopher Davis from Veteran Service Specialist to Veteran Service Officer in the Veterans Affairs Office, effective July 15th, 2026.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to recess the Commissioners meeting to hold a salary board meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Motion to convene the salary board.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Motion to approve the July 1st and 8th, 2026 salary board minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to increase the annual salary of Matthew Williams to $68,000 due to his promotion to a grade 2 head resource conservationist at the Conservation District, retroactive to June 30th, 2026.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to increase the hourly rate of Christina Alfrey to $25 per hour in accordance with the county collective bargaining agreement for the completion of the foundation certification.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn the salary board.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to reconvene the Commissioners meeting. Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to authorize the chief clerk to execute the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection Waterways and Wetlands Program Northeast Regional Office Water Obstruction and Encroachment Permit.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt resolution number 2619, Court Appointed Special Advocates Day, July 15th, 2026.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Well, read that, please.
Resolution number 26-19, Court Appointed Special Advocates Day. Whereas the Pennsylvania Court Appointed Special Advocate, CASA, is a network of 21 local programs covering 32 counties in this Commonwealth, which were developed to provide volunteer advocacy for children before the court as a result of abuse and neglect. And whereas Pennsylvania CASA, which was incorporated July 15, 1998, receives state funding and allocates this funding to local CASA programs in order to support the well-being of children. And whereas Pennsylvania CASA has 1,051 active volunteers who advocated for 2,092 abused and neglected children throughout the Commonwealth in fiscal year 24 and 25 and donated thousands of hours of their time. And whereas Pennsylvania CASA volunteers help to protect the safety and welfare of this Commonwealth's most vulnerable children. And whereas Pennsylvania CASA assists in ensuring that children's needs are met while in the dependency system and the children obtain safe and permanent housing as quickly as possible. And whereas Pennsylvania CASA volunteers are deeply committed, specially trained advocates who work within the child welfare system and are appointed by dependency court judges to provide individualized attention and bring urgency to the child's needs throughout the child's time, and case managers, foster parents, service providers, attorneys, and other stakeholders. And whereas Pennsylvania CASA maximizes community resources and support for children and families within the child welfare system through increased community involvement and awareness, state and local advocacy efforts, and more coordinated, compassionate response of children, victims, and families in crisis. And whereas the county recognizes Pennsylvania CASA volunteers for selflessly giving their time and talents to advocate for the best interests of children in court, and recognize the volunteer board members and staff of Pennsylvania CASA programs for their contributions on behalf of children of the Commonwealth. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of County of Pike designate July 15, 2026 as court-appointed Special Advocates Day in Pike County.
Thank you, Ron. I know we have a number of volunteers here, and thank you for volunteering. And I know Dawn, you probably have a few words to say, and Judge Dawn is here who supports this organization 100%. And we do also, because it's so important that we have, making sure the children in our community have somebody who's out there supporting them when they have to deal with these difficult situations.
Thank you. This is a very exciting day for the program, the advocates, the children. We're still a relatively new program at 4 years, but we have been blessed with some of what I think are the best volunteers out there. And as far as numbers go, I know they talk about how many were in the state, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about the county. And since we started, since Judge Vaughn brought us here in January of 22, there have been over 4,700 volunteer hours clocked by the advocates. If you add their training, we have clocked over 6,300 hours since we started. We've worked with 63 families and advocated for 94 children. I think that's huge. I have been blessed to have met some of the most incredible people I've ever met in my life. These are people who, they're not familiar with the child welfare system, which I think we can all agree is very difficult. It's a hard system to navigate, it's emotional, and they jumped in, not to be paid, just because they're at a point in their life where they really felt like they could help and change the life of a child. And I think that is so commendable. So today is just super special for me because it's hard to acknowledge someone that you don't pay, someone that's there just because they care. It's hard for me to show you on a daily basis how appreciated and needed that you are. So again, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I thank Judge Gahn for the never-ending support of the program. I thank children and youth for coming here to celebrate this day with us. And I thank you for again, always making sure we're getting what we need. And then there's that.
Sure, it's a volunteer.
In all fairness, I do supervise 25 volunteers. And what's different in the CASA world is volunteers, some of them work and do this on their off hours, some are retired, some have young families of their own, some are just out of college at 21. So the CASA program is 24/7. There's no such thing as business hours. So the phone does ring 24/7. So we're good with that. As long as we're moving forward as a program for the benefit of the children, it's wonderful. And again, I just thank you, and I thank you also. We do need more volunteers. So if anyone knows someone that has a little free time, is interested in children, and you believe they might be a good fit for this, please have them call me. I will say for the first time in 4 years, I do have a waiting list of children, Most of my advocates have 2 cases, and that's not how it's technically originally designed. It's usually 1 case, 1 advocate. Our advocates in Pike County have stepped up and said, no, I do have a little more free time and I will take another case. Or, no, I just feel bad, so I'll take another case. But, so they are definitely over the top, some of the best.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I also wanted to thank Judge Gahn, number 1, for bringing this program to our county, because your love, obviously, and concern for the children in our county is more than demonstrated. So thank you, Judge. I just wanted to get more clarification for people who might be interested, because I did attend the swearing in of some of these wonderful volunteers, and it's awesome. So how long is the certification process, and then what does an advocate actually do?
Okay. So the actual pre-training to become an advocate is approximately 30 hours. In addition to that, you do have some computer training, you do have the court observation, and going forward, after you swear in, you're required to have 12 continuing education credits a year. So the training is ongoing. We do customize the training program based on people's time schedule. We've done some by Zoom, we've done some in person, we've done it twice a week. I've done it one-on-one. I need advocates. If I have an advocate and I don't have a class, they can come in and I'll do the 30 hours of training with them one-on-one. Like, we're going to get the advocates on the ground running for these kids as quickly as possible. So we do it a lot of different ways. Their role is to basically be the eyes and ears of the court, is what we always say. And they gather information. They're entitled to get the children's medical records, educational records, therapy records. They meet with the families, they meet with the foster families, they meet with the children. They meet with everybody that touches that child's life. They look at the whole picture, they can identify unmet needs and make recommendations to the court, have collaboration with the agency. We've noticed this need, we've identified this need. Can the county agency, children and youth, help us meet that need even before we go to court? We don't just wait until we get to court and throw it all out there. We actively try to solve these problems as we go along, and then bring to the court a court report with our findings and recommendations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First of all, I just want to thank the commissioners for designating this as a recognition day. I think that is so important, and our volunteers certainly deserve such recognition. And I thank you for your ongoing and continued support from the first time I came to you suggesting we bring the program to Pike County. As our dependency court judge, I just want to let everyone know what a tremendous difference it has made to have boots on the ground, to have people from our own community who care enough to do the training and to get involved and to dedicate themselves to a child who's involved in the dependency court system. It has allowed me to have an extra set of eyes on every single case. And most importantly, I think we have given our most vulnerable children a voice in the courtroom. As an adult, it's scary to go to court. Imagine yourself being a child who may be removed from your home, who has people, children, youth coming into your home. It's so important that they have an adult who can just advocate for them. Not just someone from the Children and Youth Office, which is of course very important, but a neutral individual, a member of their own community who's willing to take the time and speak to them, get to know the case, review medical records, speak to educational providers, and come to court and let the court know what is the true picture of what is going on in this case with no ulterior motives other than to help and support that child. So once again, I just want to let you know, Dawn, for running the program, Janine, all your efforts, all of our volunteers, the members of Children and Youth who are working hand in hand with CASA to the extent they can, and they are distinct, but they are working together in every capacity necessary. I want to thank you. Again, I thank the commissioners, and I think this day of recognition is well earned by everyone who's doing work with CASA. So thank you.
So prior to CASA, can you just walk us what happened prior to this? Right, I know some of this language. Attorney ad litem, right? There was a different role that was played, but the children were never really represent it, right? When this was brought to us now, this is, so what was it before this? So people know the importance of this. You've already told them, but I think it's important that we drill it into people of why we're doing this.
I agree. So as a dependency court judge, I'm hearing cases where Children and Youth Services has become involved with the family. Potentially a child is going to be placed in a foster home, or there'll be supervision within the home. There's a variety of different circumstances. Before CASA, a child did have a guardian ad litem appointed to represent them, and that is, we are now a standing guardian ad litem. It's an attorney, and they meet with the child and they get information for the court. It's an attorney who has a large practice. They have other cases. They have every child or close to every child that's coming into the dependency court system. They do a great job, but it's not an individual voice for that particular child. And they certainly would not have the resources to speak to the school, to speak to doctors, to look at records, and to give a truly objective picture from the child's point of view. And they also have caseworkers, but caseworkers have a number of cases, and they're working for Children and Youth, which is a county agency. The CASA is someone who is truly intended to be a neutral voice just for that child. And what we've been doing is we assign one advocate per family. So we let them do an entire package of siblings, but they don't generally have multiple households. There may be one or two cases where we felt that an advocate was well suited to take on children that may be placed in a similar location, or there's some reason why the cases are connected. However, generally advocates have one family, and something that they can keep a true eye on and a connection with. And I've seen some tremendous bonds when I speak to the children who come into my court. Many times the only person they feel they can trust with information is their CASA. And they can pick up the phone and call their CASA and talk to them whenever they need to. These are truly dedicated individuals that are willing to speak with these children. They have tremendous patience and understanding. They know what some of these children are going through because they've had the training to understand what it's like from the child's perspective when they're entering the dependency court system. So I just think it's made a huge difference, and I hope that answers some.
Yep, it does. It just, prior to this, how important this is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I have one thing?
Go ahead, Dawn.
It's what I didn't realize, and has come to quite a surprise during the last 4 years, is how important it is to the kids that we're volunteers. When a child gets removed from their home, or they're involved with the dependency court system, everyone in their life is paid. Their foster parents, their attorney, their caseworkers. For someone to go and show up for no reason except because they care about this kid and they want to, makes a huge difference with the older children. They are shocked. They will say, "You were just here because you want to? You drove 2 hours just because you wanted to talk to me," and it is impactful. And again, we're a 24/7 phone call thing. These advocates get text messages in the middle of the night if there's a child who has anxiety. It's not between 8:30 and 4:30 that they have needs. I've gotten a call at 2 o'clock in the morning, a child wanted to know if he could have an emotional support kitten. And apparently that, at that time, was extremely important to discuss. So the fact that we're available and we're not paid to care about them, I do believe makes a really big difference.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you for your passionate and competent leadership, both of you. You are building your Pike County legacy, and this is so, so important to us. And thank you to every volunteer. This wouldn't have started without the leadership of Judge Gahn. Continue on, continue to do good work.
And again, thank you for your continued support. So I do have a trial that I'm going to be going back to, which has been on a recess for this, but I think it's so important that I came by just to show my ongoing support for everything everyone's doing and to let you know how important you are to the dependency court system. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Quick.
Oh,
You can't start without me.
yeah.
You just want to hold this with me. Where do you want to do that next? Right here.
Come on, the volunteers, come on. It's more than just us, it's not us.
Come on, crowd in,
Crowd in.
Just saying.
Cozy.
Stop it.
Do we need chairs? Chairs are good.
Okay, ready everyone? Smile. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Good job. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Commissioner Osborne, is CASA funded, or like the Greater Pike Community Foundation need to create like a fund to help support them? So I'm hearing that it's all volunteer, but I'm also hearing that there's, training requirements. and
There's
CDs.
grant, you can speak that, there's grants and that,
I
that we
can
get
speak that,
refund
yes.
some of it.
PA CASA, it has, seen that we are now included in the state budget. That just started 3 years ago. So we are included in the state budget. We also do a lot of additional training and advocacy and efforts for data collection. So we work with a lot of grants. There's a very small portion of CASA's expenses that we do rely on the county for.
Do we need, or should a private citizen reach out to Greater Pike regarding possibly creating a fund?
We just recently, actually, I just got the paperwork to open a fund through Greater Pike with the anticipation that we would start fundraising and they would be able to receive donations to CASA directly through that site.
So Rick Little and Blue.
It should be very soon. I'm meeting with Rick on Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Okay, I'll reach out to Rick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, move on to number 3, motion to approve the Pike County Home Program payment voucher in the amount of $2,387.65 payable to Action Properties Incorporated on behalf of the Office of Human Services.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the Affordable Housing Fund payment voucher in the amount of $82.75 payable to the Pike County Recorder of Deeds on behalf of the Office of Human Services.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the following human service payment vouchers on behalf of the Office of Human Services. Homeless Assistance Program in the amount of $3,149.47. Fair in the amount of $2,968. And the State Food Purchase Program in the amount of $7,880.73.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to execute the intergovernmental agreement between Wayne and Pike counties for boarding of inmates on behalf of the correctional facility as recommended by the prison board.
Motion.
I respectfully vote no.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
I would like to read a statement in response to my vote, if I may.
Right.
I want to address the matter of housing inmates outside of our county, as this topic, along with our longstanding agreement with the federal government, has been a concern of many residents. As your commissioner, I have a unique and at times a challenging duty to make the best decision on behalf of the residents of Pike, but it is one I'm honored to have. I am but one of 3 votes at this table, and 2 shared votes make the majority. Some days are easier than others, but I am proud to come to work each day in service to the nearly 60,000 residents of our great county. One of the many challenges this vote presented for me was balancing the best interests of the county. My personal wishes are that we do not need this agreement and that we never have to participate in one. But the county has done so for 30 years without major incident and with oversight of both Democratic and Republican presidential administrations, which resulted in a lower cost of living for taxpayers for over 3 decades. Pike County is the fastest growing county in the Commonwealth in large part because of our affordability compared to our neighboring counties and border states. With nearly a quarter of our residents here being age 65 and over, with many fixed incomes, I think about them and everyone else here, who like me, live in modest but respectable means, and especially those who struggle every day to pay the bills on their table. This is why I was able to support the continuation of our intergovernmental agreement while opposing the housing of inmates outside of the county. My original concerns remain the same. I had concerns about moving any inmates, specifically parents who would potentially be further away from children, and any support system. Another concern was related to any potential liability to the county due to housing inmates elsewhere. There was a lengthy discussion about this in our public prison board meetings prior to the first vote, where I voted no to the housing agreement, and I again declined to support this particular agreement. I have stated this many times in public meetings and in private while speaking with concerned residents and groups, and will do it once more here. I supported the renewal of our 30-year-long intergovernmental agreement for these reasons. Those housed in Pike are supervised by our county correctional officers who are proud members of AFSCME, AFL-CIO Council 13, with no direct oversight by ICE personnel. Those housed in Pike have access to every program and service provided to county inmates at our facility. This includes receiving tablets to communicate with family and friends, along with almost 3,800 electronic programs available in over 100 languages. The leadership and oversight of Warden Lowe and his staff has not resulted in any serious complaints or of mistreatment by ICE inmates to date. And lastly, Warden Lowe has offered an open door to anyone who would like to see the facility and decide for themselves. I felt reassurance when I first arrived here and sworn in as commissioner that members of Delaware Valley Action, a progressive nonprofit organization made up of concerned county residents and volunteers, along with other groups, requested and were given the opportunity to have a tour of our facility a few years ago, after concerns were expressed then about the agreement. And this also factored into my original decisions related to this agreement. They and any other concerned people have every right to peacefully protest this agreement and continue to express concerns about those housed here, and I unequivocally support those rights. My support was, and still is, contingent upon the ability to rely on these facts as they stand, and should any of them change, my support would as well. However, because the revenue from this intergovernmental agreement is significant and over 3 decades long, the responsible thing to do as a county leader would not be to terminate the agreement with no plan in place. The county has begun the overdue process of reassessment, something which hasn't happened in our in our county for 30 years. I bought my home here 21 years ago, and I understand those concerns and questions. Over the last week, I have received phone calls from frightened residents who specifically asked to speak with me about the reassessment process, and in tears, expressed fears about not being able to afford their homes they've owned for years or even in recent years as they moved here to retire in a relatively affordable county. Because of the loss of revenue via an abrupt end to the intergovernmental agreement would mean significant cuts to county services, most of which we are mandated by state law to fund, a significant reduction in county personnel, resulting in the loss for many their only source of income, and guaranteed sticker shock and raised taxes. I have called for a study that would answer all of these questions and help the county make informed decisions in the future should this agreement not continue. That is the responsible thing to do. And commissioners must do what is responsible, even if it is not popular. To my knowledge, I am the first and only call for such a study to be able to provide this critical information to the public, and the reasons go beyond my personal feelings about what is happening. We have a duty to be prepared and have an actual contingency plan in place, and I have pushed for months to make this a reality. Based upon a countywide review that will begin soon, we will have those answers to share with every resident, and can then, and only then, make an informed decision about how to move forward as a county. As always, residents are encouraged to connect with me via phone, email, or in person to discuss any concerns, make suggestions, or ask questions. I am here to serve and want residents to know my door is always open to them and you. Thank you.
Can you repeat whatever she said no to? What was the?
I can tell you.
Motion to execute the intergovernmental agreement between Wayne and Pike counties for the boarding of inmates on behalf of the correctional facility as recommended by the prison board. So we understand, and I appreciate her opinion. We can't fulfill the contract without having a contract with Wayne. You may not agree with that, but that's the way it needs to be. As far as a study as what happens with this, I disagree. Years ago, there was studies done when housing at the correctional facility was not guaranteed to see what that cost would be. I can tell you right now, you eliminate this, it's a $5 million increase. Now, there's a tax increase, because that is about what this generates, $5 to $6 million. And that services a lot of other services in this county. Now, This contract has been around since I've been here, since almost 16 years. It's just ironic to me that the first 4 years I was here, we had just as many detainees in that correctional facility. You know how many people were in here complaining about it? No, not when I'll tell you when you were here. I'll tell you because I know when you were here. None.
Well, I was here before you.
No, the next 4 years, then you were here. Then there was complaints. That's when the tour was held for DVA to go there and we need to get rid of the detainees. The next 4 years, how many people were in the room? None. The next four, I'm telling you what's happening. You can just use your own imagination of what's going on in Washington at that time, okay? Biden, Obama, Trump, Biden, Trump. When those two other presidents were in place, no one was in here complaining about this. Now, we have upped this contract because it is a benefit for the county. If we don't do it, don't think that somebody else isn't going to. They are. So 5 mils of taxes, I'll give you an idea. 5 mils of taxes for my house right now would be about $300 a year. Now you could say, well, that's only $300 a year. To some people, that's going to be a massive amount of money. So, well, you may not agree with us entering this contract. We have to do the contract with Wayne so that we can fulfill the contract with the federal government. The federal government is going to have a contract forever to detain people that are here illegally. It's nothing new. It's been going on, as I've said, for 30 years, and probably it's been going on much longer than that in other facilities. So, I'll stand by my vote. I know I don't have to. We'll do a study and we'll figure it out. But I'm telling you what it's going to be. It's going to be a tax increase, or you're going to close the jail. Okay? But it's always going to be some cost to the county to do this. So, I appreciate Commissioner Caceres' comments about this. But my opinion is you can't vote for one and not vote for the other. Because you can't fulfill the federal contract without fulfilling the Wayne contract.
And I respectfully disagree, because at the end of the day, there are county inmates, and I respect the opinion of every person that sits on the prison board. But we pay Wayne to house these inmates, right? So we're not getting the full amount regardless. And I still say, again, it's done, right? But I still say that there are responsibility. That's it. I understand why, and you can do one and not the other.
I'll just comment that part of this is just creating the same agreement that we've had for 30 years in a structure that is a better structure for the county and a better structure that we can count on as we produce an annual budget each year. I also agree with Matt in that one is tied to the other. With respect to Commissioner Caceres, she has every right to vote however she wants on any subject, and we will disagree from time to time, and that's what government is all about. But thank you for your comments, and thank you, Matt, for your comments.
Thank you.
You have some time for comment?
We're going to get to that at the end. We have some other things to do, okay?
Thank you.
So that was the last item on the agenda. Then we go to miscellaneous. As every meeting, we have the Penn State Extension calendar of events, and on to a topic I think we will all agree with. So we just had the parade in the borough for the 250th celebration. The next step in that is how do we remember what happened here in 2026? So I've done this before, and and the commissioners, the other two commissioners behind this, we're going to put together a time capsule. And I think it's going to be, and I know it's going to be called The Gift to the Future. What we're going to ask, and I'll read part of this, is Pike County is inviting residents, families, schools, churches, businesses, nonprofits, and municipalities to help create a once-in-a-generation historical record as part of a new America 250th community time capsule. So what the question can be, and we're going to send this out, is if you could leave only one message for the people of Pike County in 2076, what would it be? This is a fun thing to do that we want to invite everyone, county employees, residents of the county, to send items in here. There'll be a press release put out, and then this will be stored here in the county's office. I will tell you right now, I don't believe in burying time capsules. I've read too many stories about people forgetting 50 years where they got buried. As the one that sits next door in the borough's office, I did back in 1996 for the borough's 200th anniversary. I think it's, this could be a really fun project for everybody in this community to do. And you could submit anything you want, whether it be photographs, written documents, whatever it is that you think is important for you and your family. I don't want this to just be, as I said here, government records. That's easy to find. You can easily go in here and look at the minutes from 40 years ago. But what is it that's going on in our community? Whether it could be anything, even the discussions we're having here today, right? Because in 50 years, this is interesting stuff. As we all remember, you know, many of us in the room were here in 1976, right? It's interesting to have this stuff. Particularly, I'm a historian out of Penn State. I think it's important that we remember all of this. So this will be out there. I look forward to doing this, and I'm sure the commissioners do also. This will be laid on, unfortunately, the staff in our office. Shannon will help me gather all the information, and everything will be, you know, recorded and documented, and I just welcome everybody to be a part of this, because it's that important. You know, in 300 years from now, or in another 50 years, maybe one or two of us in this room will be here, but for the most part, many of us won't, that they can remember this day and what went on in Pike County in 2026.
Is there a deadline?
Yeah, we're going to ask everybody to submit everything by November 31st, so we have a little time. The plan is to seal this up. I haven't shown the other commissioners my dream of where this is going to be stored, but that's another topic. But that we can store this and go
At
through.
Matt's house.
That's a funny thing.
We'll never find it.
The one that sits in the borough office sat in my house for like 30 years because they couldn't figure out where to hang it. So it's like a big, looks like a bomb sitting in my house. But now you'll see it on the wall of the borough building over there. And it was a lot of fun to do, and people took a lot of fun in doing this. And we're going to reach out to every municipality, every fire company, every nonprofit, every church, and every person in this room and every resident. So look for the information and please be a part of this. Okay, that's all I got. And we go on to press and public comment.
Matt, I have a quick question. Regarding the newspaper article, do you think that, and no offense intended on this question, but do you think that the county could have been more proactive, you know, get out information even on social media to help people understand what's coming so that they don't fall what you may call prey to this kind of vacuum that was created?
We can always do better. You're absolutely right. But I would never anticipate it that anyone would stop a young man in his car. I mean, regardless of whether we get the information out or not, doesn't matter. You know, making terroristic threats to a kid and not pulling him over once, but pulling him over twice is a little unnerving. It's a wonder. I give this young man, I don't know him, a lot of credit for even coming back to work. You know, which one of us would do that, right? We like, I'm not doing this, you know, I don't know what we're paying him, but I'm sure it's not, you know.
$17 an hour.
Yeah, right, there you go. $17 an hour and you get harassed like this. And I give him a lot of credit for having the restraint, because the wrong person getting pulled over could have gotten out of the car, and this could have escalated into something a whole lot different if it was somebody that didn't have the temperament that this young man had at 23. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me comment here. To refute some of the things you said, my name is Greg Latordo. I've been a pet resident of Kingman Township, Pike County, since 1987. And Matt, I know you're a great historian, but I'd like to just let people know the history of the jail. In the early 1990, 91, the county decided to build a jail. I was here to try and stop that. At that time, we were shipping our local inmates out of the county, and this was billed as a way of saving the county money. Well, in reality, and one of the reasons I objected to it, we built a jail twice as big as we needed. Twice as big of the inmate population we ever needed. And at that time they said, well, we'll just have a federal program. Invite detainees to fill up the rest of the jail. And I haven't checked all of the most recent dollars amount, but that ICE detainee contract has never paid its weight. In other words, I think at one time I saw that the budget for the jail was 3 million or something like that. And we had 30% of the inmates. And if you looked at the money we got from the federal government, it paid a little over half. So there was a gap between there that us, the citizens, our tax dollars, were paying to house these people. And I agree that we need the money from the federal government to maintain this prison. But where did it, and we said when we took our inmates back, we were saving money. Now, we're shipping them back out. And one of the things that I've heard before is, well, we don't want to ship them back out because it's going to cost our sheriff's department money transporting prisoners from out of the county to the courtroom. Well, how does that figure into this thing where we need this contract, we save money? I've been advocating for a long time to take that building and repurpose it. Build a smaller jail just for our inmates and take that building and repurpose it for something we need. And Matt, you're gonna hear this, you've heard it before. Hospital, medical addiction care, senior care. And the thing I keep hearing is, oh, you can't take a prison and make it into a hospital. I don't know how many people in this room have been to a hospital recently, but you're searched, you're screened, there's people, guards walking through the halls of the hospital. Most hospitals are prisons. You just can't walk in. But yet here in beautiful Pike County, and I love this county, we don't have a hospital yet. And I keep hearing people say, be patient, it's coming. 5 years I've been hearing that. And during that time, have had surgery in other hospitals. I was a patient, but not in Pike County. It took us 4 years to get an urgent care center here. Where is our hospital? And I want to know, I would like to see the bottom lines. This is what it costs us to run the jail. This is what we're making from the federal government. This is what it's cost us to not only house our inmates in another county, but transport them back and forth. And then I want to see, what's the bottom line? Do we really have to have this? Or if we just shut the prison down, knock it down, there's no cost to that. And then I hear, oh, well, what about the people who work there? Is going to be a problem. Well, if you made it into a different thing, a hospital, in my eyes, hospitals definitely have more employees than jails. And for a long time, we have not been able to maintain our staff of COs there. Why? Because we don't pay them enough. They come here, and I know a lot of them who go to work there, work for 2 years, get experience, then go to Otisville, New York State, because they make a lot more money. And I would like to see what our vacancies are as far as our payroll. But I'm pretty sure that if we had a hospital, number one, we could employ people more. Number two, think of the money that it would be generated. How many of the people who go visit the prisoners, the inmates, buy gifts for the prisoners, stop and have breakfast here or lunch there, spend their money in this county? I don't think there's too many ICE detainees who have that kind of visitors there because they're afraid to go there anyway. So I've said my piece. I appreciate you letting me speak. And I'll look for more information from you later.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you, Mr. Rotordo, but I just want to say to you, we're not giving you permission, it's your right to speak.
Okay.
Hi. So I was one of the people who said that all of the inmates had been moved, and I'll tell you the reason why I did that. I had heard that from people who had worked there at associated things that all of the inmates had been moved, and maybe some have come back or new ones are there. But what I'm most concerned about is the fact that right now we have militarized ICE. We have ICE that is using military grade equipment, and they have a quota of 2,000 ICE people a day. These are not felonies. These are people who may be here illegally, but it's a civil thing. It's not a felony crime. And so in your article back in April, you indicated that it was a windfall. We could possibly make $18 million. Well, $18 million comes out to, at $178 a day, $65,000 a year for each one of these people. And you have to have 285 people in there to make $18 million. So that says to me that you're planning on using a lot of that capacity, and maybe not all of it, so you can tell people not 100%, but a lot of that capacity for ICE. And the reason that I'm speaking up now and I haven't been before is because of the brutality, not necessarily here, but the brutality across the United States that's happening, and it's being spoken of as it's okay because they're the other. And I just want to be sure that Pike County is not contributing to that, because we don't have to do this. I agree that we should be doing a zero-based budget on the prison and seeing what does it really mean for the county. I know you can't do it tomorrow, but I also don't want us to be sitting here and saying, oh, we can extend the contract for 5 years because we're making $18 million a year. So I'm just concerned that we're not looking at the human side of this, we're looking at only the money side.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, actually. I'm actually here for CASA, but I love the discussion. I've been a resident of Pike County since 2006, and I appreciate your comments about the healthcare in the hospital. I work in hospital operations. I have worked in now in mental health. I just feel long-term, the sustainability is just very difficult. Hospitals are, in essence, losing money if you see that they're constantly merging together. So I think we need to look just longer term in terms of the sustainability of that in this type of environment in Pike County. So that's my comments.
$170 billion and put it in healthcare.
Who's state your name for the record?
It's Karen and Demeo, Demeo.
Anyone else?
I
Kevin?
think I got my words right now. You're talking about a time capsule for a gift for the future. Almost every topic that we've touched on today, property reassessments, funding government, whether it be with or without ICE or any other tax revenue, and more specifically that got my mind rolling is CASA. Government, as well as communities and societies, I personally believe, and include any one of the commissioners, chief clerk, or solicitor, correct me if I'm wrong, I always thought, with my almost 40 years of federal and military service, we're doing it for our future, our youth. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. You know, whatever machinations the three commissioners engage in, I pray God that when they're making that final executive decision, that part of the gray matter is looking forward to how will this impact, you know, the next generation. And I've known, well, Matt for probably 20 plus years, and Ron, I've known you off and on. Chris, I've known you for the past several years too, as well as Christopher Komowski. I think they all have good hearts and good intentions. I can probably talk for hours, having worked as a senior executive in the federal government, you know, about ICE and the big machine of, we got so many 1811s in federal government, law enforcement officers, and, you know, they age out, most of them retire. Like the gentleman talking about going to auto, most of us 1811s retire like after 20 years, you know, and then we make good pensions in the old days. So it is a machine. It is a machine. And I'm not going to disrespect the sheriff, the deputy back here. It is, you know, it is just what life is in government. The reason why I'm standing here is your last comment, ma'am. You can have the infrastructure for a hospital, you know, the building, and the technology and whatnot. Rest assured, my primary residence being on Long Island, and this is my second home here in Pike County. And I know a lot of people who work with Northwell and NYU Langone. That is not a business that you want to get into. They are suffering. I mean, in Northwell, Kevin, my namesake, I mean, he's spreading himself all over the place, trying to make money. You know, setting up these little centers all over the place throughout Long Island, just trying to make money. And he's suffering. Now compare that to Pike County. You know, we're a tough nut to crack. We are. Aging population, income levels, shovel-ready infrastructures, you know. If you, a person that goes to Las Vegas, don't bet on us. To succeed, we just need, and I think we're doing our best, to sustain. Well, as we sustain, whatever we do make a decision, keep in mind the youth. I pray God somebody continues to think about that when it comes to that capsule.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. Okay, one last thing, so the meeting is adjourned. Next meeting though is August 6th. It's a Thursday, our main meeting, because we are all three of us out of town on the 5th. Okay?